Am I the asshole for throwing a gift from my dad's wife in the trash before I moved out of their house? I, 18 years old male, moved out of my dad's house last month, the day I turned 18. I no longer live in the same town, and instead I moved in with 3 of my friends who are starting college next month, and I'm about to start trade school. I'm working until trade school starts to afford rent and food. The 4 of us are splitting the cost between us. I did not take money from my dad. The day I left, my dad's wife gave me this photo album, saying it was a growing up gift. This photo album was photos of the 7 years since she and my dad married. I did not appreciate the gift, nor did I want it, which I told her to her face. She told me to take it and I should have family photos when I moved out. Before I left, I threw the album into the trash. To explain why I did this, what the background is. When I was 10, my mom died. She had an allergic reaction while we were out for a celebratory dinner for my dad, and she died on the way to the hospital. Mom was the glue that held us together. Dad and I were never very close before she died. But 6 weeks later, my dad had already met his wife, and they boxed up all of my mom's things, clothes, jewelry, photos of her, her phone, keys, anything that was just hers, and they brought it to the dump. I never got anything, and neither did any of her family. I was furious, and I will never forgive my dad for what he did. The very next day, he moved that woman in. They were married for months later. Had a small but still an actual formal wedding. They dragged me to it and pretended everything was fine and normal. She even gave a speech about being so excited to have a son of her own and all that adventures we'll have together. When I was 12, I got copies of a couple of photos of Mom from extended family and put them in my room. Dad's wife found the photos and she removed them, saying I didn't need those and I'd bring everyone down having them in the house. I yelled at her, cursed at her, wished her dead and erased, and my dad yelled at me for disrespecting his wife. I told him that day I wish he'd died instead of my mom. He told me he wished he'd let my grandparents take me after the fight they had about Mom's stuff going to the dump. I told him I wish he had. The 7 years of living with the 2 of them were hell. I'm so glad I'm gone. I have no respect for either of them, and I don't care that my dad lost someone too. He threw her away, and not just from him. After I settled in my apartment, Dad suddenly remembered my number for the first time in 3 years and called me out for upsetting and disrespecting his wife by throwing her gift away. He told me she did it out of love. I ignored it. She sent me a text on Dad's phone telling me I should be surrounded by happy family memories, which was why she made the album. I sent a photo of my room which has photos of my mom, ones I got copies of. That was the only reply I made. But I got several more texts, some from an unknown number after I blocked Dad, saying I was acting spitefully. Am I the asshole?